I stood alone in the bridal suite at Willow Creek Vineyard, gazing at my reflection in the tall antique mirror. The gown hugged my frame just right, lace whispering against silk with every breath. The stylist had worked wonders. My eyes sparkled under a veil of soft liner. Cheeks glowed with a natural flush, and my lips curved in a shade of blush that felt timeless, like something out of my grandmother's old photos. Everything was perfect. Or it should have been. The bouquet of ivory peonies and eucalyptus lay on the vanity, petals unfurling like secrets waiting to be told. I glanced at my phone for what must have been the 15th time that hour. The screen stayed stubbornly blank. No good luck text from Mom. No last-minute joke from Dad. Not even a thumbs-up emoji from my brother. Benjamin. The clock ticked past 3:45 p.m. and the knot in my stomach tightened, pulling at threads I'd spent years trying to mend. A gentle rap at the door shattered the quiet. Elena, the wedding coordinator with her clipboard and unflappable poise, peeked in. Her smile was professional, but her eyes held that flicker of worry I'd seen in too many mirrors lately. Olivia, it's nearly time. You ready for this? My gaze drifted to the French doors, cracked just enough to reveal the ceremony below. 90 guests milled about in the vineyard's emerald garden, settling into rows of crisp white chairs under a canopy of ancient oaks. The string quartet coaxed a gentle melody from their instruments, Pachelbel's canon. I'd chosen it myself, dreaming of how it would swell as my family beamed from the front row. But there, in the prime seats marked with silk ribbons, sat 3 empty voids, like forgotten placeholders in a life I'd scripted alone. They're not coming. Are they? The words escaped in a whisper, my voice cracking like dry leaves underfoot. Elena's smile wavered, just for a heartbeat. She stepped inside, closing the door softly behind her. There's still a little time, she said, her tone light, but laced with the truth. We both knew. Flights from Chicago were an hour late at best. But excuses had piled up, like unread invitations over the years. I smoothed the bodice of my dress, fingers tracing the embroidered vines that climbed the sleeves, symbols of growth I'd clung to through every overlooked milestone. Let's do this anyway. The doors to the garden swung wide, and the world tilted. 90 pairs of eyes turned toward me, a sea of faces blurred by the lump rising in my throat. I stepped forward on heels that suddenly felt like anchors. The aisle, stretching endless under my feet. Whispers rippled through the crowd like wind through grapevines, soft murmurs of, "Where's her family?" and encouraging nods that only amplified the ache. One aunt from my father's side dabbed her eyes, mistaking my resolve for tears. Another guest, à distant cousin, offered a thumbs-up that landed like pity. Each step echoed the rhythm of my pulse. Why today? Why now? The air smelled of sun-warmed earth and blooming jasmine. A scent that should have been joyful, but twisted into something bittersweet. My mind flashed to 3 days earlier. Mom's voice crackling over the line from their suburban kitchen. We'll do our best, sweetheart. But Benjamin's firm has that big client dinner. It's a real opportunity for him. Her words had landed casual, like rescheduling a dentist appointment. Not her daughter's wedding. I'd gripped the phone tighter. Offers tumbling out in a rush. I can cover the flights, the hotel, everything. Please. Mom, it's my day. In the background, Dad's baritone had cut through. Impatient, as always. Tell her we're tied up. Patricia, life doesn't stop. And that was that. No apologies. No alternatives. Just the familiar shuffle of priorities where Benjamin's shadow always loomed largest. Now, as I navigated the petal-strewn path, I forced air into my lungs. In. Out. One foot, then the other. No tears. Not here. Not for them. They didn't deserve the salt of my sorrow, even from afar. Halfway down, the quartet's notes swelled, pulling my focus to the altar. There stood Alexander, my rock in a storm I'd never seen coming. His suit cut sharp against the sunset, tie loosened just enough to hint at the man who'd held me through midnight doubts. His eyes locked on mine, steady, unwavering. The kind of gaze that said, we're in this, no matter who isn't. The love there wrapped around me like a shawl against the chill. Almost, easing the phantom weight of those empty chairs. When I reached him, his hands enveloped mine, warm and calloused, from years of building our life together. Boardroom by boardroom. I've got you, he murmured, voice low enough for only us. This is ours. The officiant began, words flowing like a river. I'd crossed alone, promises of partnership, of facing tomorrows hand in hand. But beneath it all simmered the undercurrent, the question no one voiced but everyone felt. Where's the family that's supposed to fill those seats? As Alexander slipped the band onto my finger, cool platinum warming against my skin. A memory clawed its way up. Unbidden. I was 9. Standing in our cramped living room, clutching a blue ribbon from the county science fair. I'd spent weeks on that volcano model. Baking soda and vinegar erupting in perfect chaos under the cafeteria lights. Bursting through the door, I'd thrust it toward Mom. Words spilling. They said it was the best one, Mrs. Hargrove wants me in the regional next year. She'd barely looked up from sorting Benjamin's soccer trophies, her hands dusted with flour from dinner prep. That's sweet. Olivia. Now, help set the table. Your brother's got practice soon. Dad had wandered in later, ruffling my hair, as he always did, absent as a summer breeze. Benjamin's team is undefeated. Needs the focus. When I'd pressed, voice small, why didn't you come see it? He'd sighed, like I was the burden. He's got the drive to go pro. You get it. Right. Kiddo, and Mom. Ever, the echo. If you channeled half that energy into something practical, like your brother. I'd nodded then, swallowing the sting, vowing to try harder. Straight A's in high school. A full-ride scholarship to State University. The startup that turned garage, tinkering into a 6-figure salary. Each win a brick in the wall I'd built to shield the girl who just wanted a front-row seat at her own life. But the wall had cracks. And today, they gaped wide. The officiant cleared his throat. Olivia. Your vows. I blinked back to the present. Alexander's thumb tracing circles on my knuckles. The words came steady. Forged in the fire of too many solo celebrations, I promise to see you. Truly see you. Through every season. To build a home where no chair stays empty because we choose each other. Every day. His echo at mine. Voice thick. And I vow to stand in the gaps. To make sure you're never walking alone. You may kiss the bride. The crowd erupted claps. Cheers. A few whoops from Alex's rowdy cousins. His mother, Margaret, swept forward first, her embrace fierce and scented with lavender. Welcome to the fold. Dear, your family now properly. Her words cracked something open. A sliver of light in the hollow. For the first time that day, the ache ebbed, replaced by a quiet resolve. Maybe this is enough. The reception unfolded under lantern-lit arbors, fairy lights twinkling like misplaced stars. Alex twirled me across the stone patio, his laughter pulling me into the rhythm. His family encircled us uncles, swapping stories of his boyhood mishaps. Aunts, pressing seconds of peach cobbler into my hands. Lisa, my old college roommate who'd flown in from Seattle, despite a storm delay, cornered me by the dessert table. You were radiant out there, she said, clinking her glass to mine. But those seats? Honey, they don't deserve the view they missed. I forced a smile. The champagne flute cool against my palm. It's fine. Really. But it wasn't. As the night deepened, Guests drifted to the dance floor. I slipped away to the quiet edge of the vineyard. Phone in hand. One last check, please. Just a proud of you from someone. The screen mocked me. 0 notifications. Not a single pixel of acknowledgement from the people who'd raised me. Shaped me. Then looked right through. Alex found me there. Silhouetted against the moonlit vines. He didn't ask. He just wrapped an arm around my waist. Chin resting on my shoulder. They chose wrong today, he said simply. No, pity. Just fact. But look around this. This is what winning looks like. I followed his gaze. Friends who'd rearranged lives to be here. His kin toasting our future, like it was the only one that mattered. Strangers who'd become stand-ins. Filling the air with genuine warmth. I set the phone face down on a nearby bench. The weight lifting like fog burning off at dawn. You're right, I whispered. Turning into him. Their loss. In that moment, as fireworks bloomed overhead, our one extravagance, I felt the first stirrings of something dangerous, not just survival, but reclamation. But as the embers faded, a quieter question lingered. One that would haunt the months ahead. What happens when the people who should celebrate your triumphs start circling back? Not with apologies, but with hands outstretched. Little did I know. The real storm was brewing, not in empty chairs, but in the shadows of success they'd ignored, until it gleamed too bright to miss. The officiant's declaration, husband and wife, hung in the balmy vineyard air like a fragile truce, met by a wave of applause that crashed over us. Warm and insistent, Alexander pulled me close. His kiss soft but sure. A quiet anchor amid the whirl. For those first euphoric seconds, the world narrowed to just us, his hand at the small of my back. The faint taste of mint on his breath. The way the crowd's cheers blurred into a comforting hum. But as we turned to face them, those 3 empty seats in the front row loomed larger in my periphery. Stark white against the sea of smiling faces like accusations etched in linen. We processed back down the aisle. Arms linked. Petals scattering underfoot like confetti from a half-hearted parade. Guests surged forward. A tide of hugs and well wishes, Alex's boisterous Uncle Frank clapping him on the back with a booming, "That's my boy now, don't screw it up." My old sorority sister Mia, thrusting a flute of bubbly into my hand. Whispering fiercely, "You slayed that walk? Girl? Screw the no-shows, this is your empire." I nodded, murmuring, "Thanks." But the hollow in my chest yawned wider with each embrace. Where was the chorus from my own blood, the proud arm around my shoulders? The teary, "We made this girl from the people who'd changed my diapers." The receiving line dragged on under the arbor. Sunlight slanting golden through the leaves, casting dappled patterns on faces I'd invited out of habit, more than hope. Distant relatives from Mom's side, cousins I hadn't seen since Aunt Lydia's funeral 5 years back, offered stiff congratulations. Their eyes darting to the vacant spots, like they were puzzle pieces gone missing. Traffic must have been brutal from O'Hare. One murmured, as if weather could excuse a lifetime of sidelining. I smiled through it, jaw aching. But inside, the questions festered. Did they even board? Or was it Benjamin's latest breakthrough at the firm? A corner office promotion he'd texted about last week, complete with champagne emojis that sealed their fate. By the time we reached the reception tent, the quartet had shifted to lighter fare swing tunes that coaxed feet to the floor. Tables groaned under platters of herb-crusted salmon, heirloom, tomato salads, and tiered cakes frosted in buttercream swirls. Alex's family claimed a corner booth, turning it into an impromptu storytelling hub, his sister Clara regaling us with tales of his teenage rebellion. Like the time he borrowed Grandpa's truck for a midnight joyride and ended up stuck in a ditch till dawn. Laughter bubbled up, genuine, infectious, pulling me in despite myself. Margaret, Alex's mom, slid a plate my way, extra lemon drizzle on the cake. just how I'd mentioned liking it once. "Eat up. Love," she said, patting my hand. "Weddings are marathons, not sprints. And you've run a tough one today." Her kindness landed like a balm, but it only sharpened the contrast. As the afternoon bled into evening, guests swirling in clusters of clinking glasses and shared anecdotes, I found myself scanning faces for the familiar mom's sharp bob haircut, Dad's perpetual squint from years behind a desk, Benjamin's easy grin that always charmed a room. Nothing. Zilch. The DJ called for the first dance, and Alex led me to the center. His arms, a fortress as we swayed to at last Etta James's velvet croon wrapping around us like a secret vow. "They're fools," he murmured into my hair, low enough to shield from prying ears. "But we're not playing their game anymore." I pressed closer, inhaling the clean scent of his cologne mixed with vineyard earth, willing his words to root deep. For a breath, it worked. The music, the lights strung like fireflies, the way his thumb traced lazy circles on my waist. But as the song faded and the floor opened to others, the memories crept in uninvited, sharp as thistles under bare feet. I was 12 again, in the dim-lit auditorium of Jefferson Middle. Stage lights hot on my face as I clutched the microphone for the regional spelling bee. Months of flashcards taped to my bedroom mirror. Nights, sacrificing sleepovers to drill words like quintessential and ephemeral. I'd won first place, a gleaming trophy heavier than my backpack, and rushed home, bursting through the door with it held high like a captured flag. Mom was in the kitchen, apron tied tight, stirring a pot of chili for Benjamin's post-game feast. His football team had scraped a win against the crosstown rivals. Nothing championship level, but enough for Dad to fire up the grill and invite half the neighborhood. "Look," I'd cried, thrusting the trophy forward. It teetered on the counter's edge, catching the fluorescent glow. She glanced over, spoon pausing mid-stir. "Oh, honey, that's nice. But help with the beans, your brother's teammates will be here any minute. Can't have them going hungry." Dad lumbered in from the garage, grease-streaked from tuning Benjamin's bike, and gave the trophy a cursory pat. "Good job, kid. Benjamin scored the winning touchdown, coach says scouts were watching." When I'd ventured, voice tentative, "Will you come to the awards banquet next week? It's at the high school." He'd chuckled, already cracking open a beer. "Scouts don't wait. Olivia, we gotta prioritize what's got legs," Mom chimed in, wiping her hands on a dish towel. "Your brother's building a future. Focus on supporting that, and you'll see how it works." I'd nodded, retreating to my room, with the trophy tucked under my arm like contraband. That night, as cheers echoed from the backyard and smoke from the grill wafted through my cracked window, I'd traced the engraved plate with a fingertip. Olivia Grant. Champion, wondering if supporting meant erasing myself. It became the pattern, etched deeper, with each year my valedictorian speech at graduation, delivered to a half-empty auditorium because Benjamin's college interview ran long, the scholarship acceptance letter from Northwestern, framed on my desk while they footed his tuition at a state school after his grades tanked, the quiet pride of landing my first marketing gig, overshadowed by his networking trip to D.C. that they bankrolled with their savings. Why him? I'd finally asked at 17. Cornering Mom during a rare quiet moment in the laundry room. The dryer hummed like a judgmental ant. She folded Benjamin's jerseys with military precision, not meeting my eyes. "He's got that spark. Olivia, the one that opens doors. You're steady. Reliable. But steady doesn't always shine." Her words had landed like a verdict. I was the workhorse. He, the show pony. And God help me, I'd believed it. Doubling down on reliable internships, stacked like cordwood. A master's in business by 24. Bootstrapping a boutique ad agency from my studio apartment, while they co-signed loans for his string of entrepreneurial ventures that fizzled like damp fireworks. Back in the tent, the DJ's voice crackled over the speakers. Time for the father-daughter dance. Dads, grab your girls. The floor cleared. Spotlights pooling soft on empty space where Dad should have stood two-stepping to some old Sinatra tune. His calloused hand in mine, whispering apologies for all the missed beats. Instead, Alex's father stepped up. Boti esco, offering a gentle hand. Honor of a lifetime. Olivia, he said, voice gruff with emotion. We moved to My Wish by Rascal Flatts. His steps, sure where others faltered. Families aren't always the ones we're born to, he murmured midway through. Sometimes, we get to pick better. Tears pricked then. Hot and unwelcome. But I blinked them back, focusing on the lyrics' wishes for open roads and fearless hearts. Around us, couples swayed, Alex with his mom, Clara with her husband, even Elena stealing a twirl with the bartender. My side of the family scattered at tables, nursing drinks and small talk, their glances sympathetic but fleeting. As the song ended, applause polite, I excused myself to the edge of the tent, gulping cool night air laced with the tang of fermenting grapes. Lisa found me there, slipping a fresh glass into my hand, sparkling water this time. Knowing my tells. Spill it, she said, leaning against a post. Her bridesmaid gown rumpled from hours of mingling. Those seats aren't haunting you alone, he sighed. The dam cracking just enough. It's not new. Benjamin's always been the sun. I'm the moon reflecting his light if I'm lucky, she snorted, loyal fire in her eyes. Moon's got phases. Babe, yours is full eclipse tonight. They don't get to dim that. Her words hung there, a spark in the dusk. But doubt flickered. How many eclipses could one orbit take? The evening pressed on cake cutting with sabers from Alex's Navy buddies, a flourish that drew whoops and flashes. Bouquet toss, where Mia caught it with a triumphant yelp. Garter retrieval that had everyone in stitches. Yet, threaded through the joy was the undercurrent, pulling like an unseen riptide. Guests cornered me with veiled probes. Flight troubles, work emergency, each one a polite dagger. Twisting the knife of exclusion. Midway through the bouquet, toss chaos. My phone buzzed in my clutch. Finally, heart leaping like a startled deer. I fished it out. Pulse. Thundering. A text from an unknown number, stuck in traffic outside Portland. Make it up to you soon, B. Benjamin. Not even an apology. Just a vague promise tossed like pocket change. I stared at the screen. Thumb hovering over, reply. The party noise fading to a dull roar. Make it up, as if a belated toast could erase the decades of drafts where I'd been the afterthought. Alex appeared at my elbow, reading the glow on my face. Them I nodded, handing over the phone. He scanned it. Jaw tightening, not anger, but that quiet fury he reserved for injustices against the people he loved. Delete it, he said flatly. Or better block. You've got 90 souls here who flew, drove, rearranged lives for you. Let that be the measure. He hesitated, fingers trembling, then hit the buttons. Gone. The digital equivalent of folding those empty chairs and walking away. As the night wound down, stars pricking the velvet sky, we gathered for toasts. Alex's best man, his college roommate Theo, went first, roasting him about bad haircuts and worse pickup lines, landing on a heartfelt, to Olivia, the woman who turned this wild card into a full house. Laughter swelled, glasses raised. Then Lisa took the mic, her voice steady as steel. To Olivia Grant, now Hayes, who spent her life building bridges while some folks burned them behind her. Today, we celebrate the family she deserves, the one that shows up, stays, and sees her shine. To futures without empty seats. The words landed like thunderclaps in a quiet room. Murmurs, rippling agreement. Discomfort. A few averted eyes from my relatives. I stood taller. Chin lifting. The sting morphing to something fiercer, not just hurt, but a slow burning resolve. They chose absence. I choose presence. But as the final notes faded and guests trickled toward valet stands, hugging goodbye under the portico, a shadow lingered. What if making it up wasn't a text, but a call from the past, when my successes started stacking dollars high enough to catch their wandering eyes? Little did I know. 2 years on, a single snapshot would drag those ghosts kicking and screaming back to my door, begging for scraps from the table I'd set alone. 2 years slipped by like pages in a well-thumbed ledger, each one inked with the quiet victories I'd carved out alone. The vineyard wedding had faded to a framed photo on our mantel, Alex and me under those oaks. His arm, a steadfast anchor. The empty chairs cropped out like a bad memory, airbrushed from a portrait. Life with him was steady ground weekend hikes in the Cascades. Lazy Sundays, with his family's raucous brunches, where Margaret's pancakes outshone any apology I'd never get. My agency. Once, a shoebox operation in a rented garage, had bloomed into Crescent Creative. A boutique powerhouse, specializing in digital campaigns for eco-brands. We'd landed Levi's for a sustainability push. Then Patagonia, turning green ideals into 7-figure contracts. But the real milestone hit on a drizzly Tuesday in October. The kind of Pacific Northwest gray that begged for indoor triumphs. I leaned back in my corner office floor to ceiling windows, framing the Willamette River's sluggish flow. A far cry from the cramped cubicle I'd clawed out of at 25. The screen glowed with the email from our board. Acquisition finalized. Horizon Media Group. Purchases. Crescent Creative for $21 million. Effective immediately. $21 million. 5 years of 80-hour weeks. Cold calls that went nowhere. Nights pitching to skeptics who saw a nice side hustle in my vision. Validation. Cold and hard as the platinum band on my finger. The door flew open before I could exhale. My team spilling in like a victory parade. Jen, my creative lead with her neon-streaked hair, brandishing a magnum of Veuve Clicquot. Marcus, the numbers guy who'd crunched till dawn, juggling plastic coupes. To Olivia Hayes Yen Hollard, popping the cork with a report that echoed off the exposed brick walls. The queen who turned scraps into a kingdom while the rest of us were still sketching on napkins. Laughter erupted, genuine and unforced, as we clinked amid whoops and backslaps. 12 of them folks who'd rearranged weddings, skipped family reunions, shown up for every late-night brainstorm when blood ties would have ghosted. Marcus poured extra for me, his grin sly. Bet your folks are framing this one on the mantle. Huh. The quip landed light, but it twisted something low in my gut. I forced a chuckle, raising my glass. To us, the family that builds, not just borrows. We toasted, the bubbles sharp on my tongue. And for a heartbeat, the room felt invincible. Stories flew. Jen's tale of the Levi's pitch, where I'd ad-libbed a tagline on the fly. Marcus recounting the boardroom stare, down with Horizon's CEO. My calm rebuttal sealing the deal. No side-eye. No, but what about your brother? Just pure earned acclaim. As the fizz settled, my phone chirped on the desk, a notification chime that yanked me sideways. Instagram. Benjamin's handle lighting up the lock screen. I shouldn't have swiped. God help me. I did. There he was, arm slung around his wife, Rebecca, in a sun-drenched shot from some Hamptons look-alike beach house. Wait. No. The geotag screamed. Maui family escape. Recharging for the big push ahead. Number, blessed number, legacy building. Mom and Dad flanked them. Dad's hand on Benjamin's shoulder, like a proud sentinel. Mom beaming at the twin girls in frilly swimsuits, their chubby fists clutching mango slices. Caption: grandkids make every sunset golden. 3rd gen vibes at Westridge Prep. Continue tuition season sorted. Future. Secured. Number. Family first. I scrolled. The algorithm. A cruel curator. Next. A carousel from last month's holiday bash. I hadn't rated an invite to turkey carved on fine china. Benjamin at the head. Toasting to the next chapter. In law. Dad's retirement. Luau. Tiki torches flickering. Benjamin emceeing with mic in hand while I sat in Portland. Nursing, takeout, tie alone. Then the twins' enrollment pics, plaid uniforms, starched crisp. Westridge Academy crest gleaming. Mom's post gushing. Our little scholars, $30 Kelvins a year. But worth every penny for the connections that'll carry them far. Connections. The word soured like week-old milk. I zoomed on the backgrounds, the Maui rental. A sprawling villa with infinity pool overlooking black lava shores. Clocking easy, at $5. 000 a night. Minimum. Benjamin's McMansion in the burbs. Cape Cod shutters against a lawn manicured by pros. In a zip code where starters tipped 7 figures. His firm mid-tier. Corporate law. Grinding associates for billables that barely cleared mid-6s. No way it floated that yacht of a lifestyle. Not without ballast from Mom and Dad's nest egg, the one they'd squirreled away from Dad's mill job and Mom's part-time bookkeeping. Now hemorrhaging on Benjamin's investments that flop of a craft beer startup. The over-leveraged condo flip during the '08 crash. Gossip from Cousin Ellie, who'd friended me on a whim last Christmas. Trickled in via DMs. Your folks cashed half their $401k for Ben's bridge loan last year. Don't tell him I said. Bridge. To where another photo op. My thumb hovered. The acquisition email. Still open in the other tab. $21 million. Wired by noon. Not a whisper from them. No. New. You had it in you text. No proud repost. Just crickets. While Benjamin's feed overflowed with their likes. Hearts. Endless validation. Jen nudged my elbow. Her brow furrowing. Earth to boss. Where'd you wander? I blinked. Locking the screen with a decisive swipe. Nowhere good. Let's wrap this Horizon integration calls at 3. The team filed out. Buzz. Lingering. Like aftershave. But solitude hit hard once the door clicked shut. I paced to the window. River traffic crawling below like my thoughts. They propped him up. Plank by plank. While I balanced on a wire. And now, the decision crystallized. Sharp as a fresh inked contract. I dialed my advisor. Voice steady. That Porsche Taycan metallic slate. Finalized today. Full cash. 3 hours later. Paperwork signed in a showroom that smelled of leather and new ambition. I slid behind the wheel. The engine purred to life. Silent torque humming through the seats like a promise kept. Extravagant, sûr. Unnecessary, by most metrics. But pulling into our driveway that evening. The slate-gray beast gleaming under sodium lamps. I felt the scales tip not spite. But sovereignty. Alex met me at the garage. Whistle low. Damn. Live. Treating yourself right. I snapped a single-shot car angled, just so. Sunset. Gilding the curves. No poser. No filter. Caption: milestones met. Dreams delivered. Number. Forward motion. Posted. Done. For 3 days. The digital void echoed the wedding silence, 0 likes from the family account. No. Comment hearts. I dove into transition meetings. Onboarding Horizon's team. The Porsche, a sleek chariot for coffee runs and client lunches. Freedom tasted like acceleration on the 405. Wind whipping through the sunroof. Then, Wednesday afternoon. Mid-review of a pitch deck. The phone shattered the focus. Mom calling. 5 years since that half-hearted wedding text from Benjamin. Longer since her last check-in. Which was code for prying about my settling down. My thumb hovered. Pulse a war drum. Answer. The screen pulsed insistent. I tapped. Olivia Mom's voice sliced through. That clipped Midwestern edge, honed from decades of committee meetings, authority laced with urgency. The tone she reserved for crises, like overdrawn checking or PTA fundraisers. We need to talk. Family summit. Tomorrow. Your place or ours. The casual demand landed like a subpoena. Family summit, I echoed, leaning back, the leather creaking under me. Disbelief sharpened my words. After radio silence on my wedding, the business sale, what's the sudden urgency? Mom, a pause. Papers rustling on her end bills. Maybe. Or Benjamin's latest invoice. Dad's murmur filtered through. Tell her it's critical. Pat. No games. As if I were the child stalling bedtime. It's delicate. She pressed. Voice, dropping to that confiding hush. Finances. The whole clan's involved. Benjamin's in a bind. And your father's retirement. She trailed off. The hook baited. Of course. The Porsche post had 2 Kelvin's likes from clients. Colleagues. Even that cousin Ellie, with fire emojis. Horizon's press release had hit Forbes's feeds by breakfast. Now, poof, family again. Not for the win. But the wallet? I glanced at the window. Rain pattering, like impatient fingers. Tomorrow at 2. Your house? Click. Ended before her sputter could form. The pitch deck blurred. My mind raced ahead to the Colonial 2 story in Lake Forest. Its wraparound porch, where Dad had taught Benjamin to throw a spiral, but skipped my first bike ride. What bind? Another scheme gone south. The math from those Instagram audits screamed shortfall tuition doubles. Mortgage balloons. Benjamin's opportunities evaporating like morning mist. They drained the well for him. Drop by drop. While I'd irrigated my own fields in silence. That night, over takeout, pad thigh, with Alex on the couch, our ritual. No frills, I laid it out. Fork midway to mouth. It's a shakedown. They see the car. Sniff the sail. And suddenly, I'm the safety net. He set his bowl down. Eyes narrowing, not surprise. But that partner steel we'd forged in therapy sessions post-wedding? Boundaries. Live. Remember Patricia's line, no is a complete sentence. I nodded. But the what-ifs churned. What if they played the guilt card? Trotting out the twins' photos like human shields. What if Dad's retirement was code for tapped-out IRAs? All funneled to Benjamin's bottomless pit. And the kicker, what if? Beneath the ask, lurked a crack in their narrative. A chance to finally hear. We were wrong. Sleep came fitful. The Porsche's keys glinting on the nightstand like a talisman. Morning broke gray. The drive to Lake Forest, a 40-minute crawl on I-90. Wipers swiping at the drizzle like erasers on old regrets. Billboards blurred family law firms, promising amicable divides. Estate planner, tooting legacy protection. Irony bit deep. I rehearsed lines in the rear view. Where were you when I needed a loan for startup capital, but deeper? The ache pulsed. Why him? Always. The Colonial loomed at the cul-de-sac's end. Siding faded. Lawn ragged first fissures in the facade. Phone buzzed Alex's text. Extraction on speed dial. You've got the power now. Then Ellie's DM heard about the summit. Ben's house is underwater. Foreclosure whispers. Watch your back. Foreclosure. The word detonated quiet. Pulling into the drive. The Porsche's growl cut the engine. Its bulk, a bold statement against their sensible accord. For a split second. Hands on the wheel. I saw the girl who'd once idolized that house Thanksgivings, with store-bought pies. Easters where Benjamin hunted eggs, while I read in the corner. They'd built a shrine to his potential. I'd been the footnote. The porch light flickered on early. Door cracking. Before my knock, Mom stood there, cardigan clutched tight, Dad hovering behind like a shadow puppet. Their eyes flicked past me to the car appraisal. Not affection. You've upgraded, Dad said. No warmth. Just ledger math. Yeah, I replied, stepping over the threshold. The scent of lemon pledge, warring with something stale stagnation. Maybe. Let's talk business. But as they herded me to the dining room, Benjamin and Rebecca already seated. Faces schooled to concern. Stacks of folders fanned like a bad poker hand, the air thickened with the unspoken. This wasn't a chat, it was a siege. And in that moment, briefcase, heavy with acquisition docs and a therapist's boundary blueprint, I realized the prodigal wasn't me. It was them returning not with fatted calf, but empty hands and heavier hearts. How far would they push before the mask slipped? And when it did, would I hand over the keys? Or drive away for good? The rain had picked up by the time I killed the engine. Fat drops drumming the roof, like impatient creditors at the door. The Colonial's porch light cast a jaundiced glow over the driveway. Illuminating weeds pushing through cracked concrete, a far cry from the manicured lawn of my childhood memories, where Dad had spent summers seeding dreams into Benjamin's Little League fantasies. I lingered in the car, a beat, fingers drumming the stitched leather wheel. Patricia's words from our last session echoing like a mantra, boundaries aren't walls. Olivia, they're doors you control. Alex's text burned in my pocket. One word. And I'm there. Love you, fierce. Ellie's warning pinged again. Ben's in deep. Don't let the sob stories stick. Deep breath. Purse over shoulder briefcase heavy with Horizon docs and a notarized foundation outline I'd sketched post-sale. Just in case Summit meant siege, I stepped out. Heels clicking sharp on the wet pavement. The door swung inward before my knock. Mom's silhouette filling the frame like a sentinel in sensible flats. Her eyes, sharp as ever, behind bifocals, flicked from my face to the Porsche's sleek lines, lingering on the alloy wheels like she was pricing livestock. Olivia, she said. No embrace. Just a nod that landed cool as the drizzle. Come in. Out of this mess. Dad loomed behind her in the foyer. Flannel shirt rumpled. His once broad shoulders stooped under some invisible yoke. Sharp ride, he grunted. Not preamble. Eyes appraising like he was back at the mill. Gauging. Lumber yield. Not proud of you. Kid just valuation. The first ledger entry, in a ledger I'd never balanced for them. Yeah, I replied. Voice even. Stepping past the threshold. The house smelled of Murphy's oil soap and faint mildew echoes of pot roasts and report cards. Now, soured by time. Let's cut to it. They herded me wordless to the dining room. The long oak table, a relic from Grandma Hayes's estate. Scarred from Thanksgivings, where Benjamin held court and I passed the peas. He sat at the near end now. Rebecca beside him, her blonde bob impeccable, but nails picking at a napkin, betraying the polish. Folders splayed before them like a prosecutor's exhibit mortgage statements. Tuition invoice. A dog-eared ledger that screamed shortfall. Benjamin looked up. His salesman's smile, faltering into something practiced concern. Or, close enough. Liv. Good to see you. Been too long. 5 years. I said. Not sitting. Purse a shield at my side. Since the wedding you texted about at the 11th hour. What's the play here? Mom bustled in with a tray tea service. The good china. As if civility could sugarcoat the subtext. Dad cleared his throat, gesturing to a chair, like it was a throne. Sit. Olivia. This is family business. The word family landed, loaded. A grenade with the pin half pulled. I eased into the seat opposite Benjamin. The wood creaking like old bones settling scores. Dad took the head. Posture ramrod from years of foreman shifts. Flipping open the top folder with hands that trembled just enough to notice. Straight talk. Benjamin's house 3 months arrears. Simeon. 200 monthly. Ballooned on that arm. They took in 22. Westridge tuition for the girls $62 Kelvins due yesterday per head. No scholarships this round. He slid a printout across. Red ink. Screaming. Deficits $18 Kelvins. Overdraft. Credit lines maxed. Benjamin's firm billing down. A party percent on market shifts. Rebecca's eyes welled on cue. Her voice. A practiced quiver. The girls. They love their school. The uniforms. The friends. We can't uproot them now. I scanned the page. Numbers blurring into the familiar script. Benjamin's sure thing real estate flip in 19. Bailed by Dad's IRA draw. The consulting gig post. Law school. That lasted 6 months. Bridged by Mom's side savings. Patterns. Not pitfalls. Decades of scaffolding his stumbles while mine went unpropped. And you, I looked to Dad. Voice level. Retirement's wiped. All in on this, he shifted. Adam's apple bobbing. We've stretched. Second, mortgage on this place, $250 Kelvins, equity left. If we sell. But the market. Mom poured tea. Steam curling like evasion. We're not asking for charity. Olivia. Just a bridge. $150 Kelvins, low interest. 6 months. Collateralized against Benjamin's practice. Benjamin leaned in. Elbows on the table. That boyish charm, cracking at the edges, lines around his eyes deeper than last I'd seen. Jaw shadowed like he'd skipped shaves for stress. It's temporary. Sis. Firm's landing a merger, big tobacco client. Clean energy pivot. But cash flow. Rebecca nodded fervent. Sliding a photo album across twins in pigtails. Gap-toothed grins at a birthday. I'd ghosted. Cake smeared on chubby cheeks. They ask about Aunt Livy. Why doesn't she come to soccer? We'd name a wing after you at the school. If we could... The hook sank deep. Tugging at the girl who'd once sewn costumes for their dress-up games. Babysat gratis so Benjamin could network. But Patricia's voice cut through. Gilt's their currency, don't spend yours. I closed the album. Gentle. Pushing it back. Cute kids. But let's rewind. My wedding 2 years ago. Willow Creek. 90 guests, who showed because they chose to. Where were you for? Silence stretched. Thick as the rain pattering the mullioned windows. Mom's spoon clinked china. Overly loud. Busy. She said finally. Eyes on her cup. Benjamin's conference keynote speaker. Flights were a nightmare anyway. Conference, I echoed. Heat rising slow. The one he posted from a beach bar in Cancun. I saw the stories, maites and networking sunsets. Benjamin flushed. Chair scraping as he sat up. It was work adjacent. You know how it is. Deals don't close 9 to 5. Dad interjected. Voice gruff. Water under the bridge. Olivia. We sent a gift crystal vase. Right. The vase. A generic registry filler. Shipped late. Tag still on when it arrived. You missed my pitch for Patagonia. Front page of Ad Age. My grad ceremony. Dean's list. Full honors. Hell. My first client win at 23. Scraping ramen to make payroll. Where was the bridge, then? Rebecca's tears spilled now. Handkerchief dabbing delicate. We're not saying your wins don't matter. But Benjamin? He's the one carrying the name forward. Law degree. The practice legacy stuff. Legacy. The word ignited. A spark to dry tinder. I laughed. Short and sharp, not bitter. But clarifying. Legacy. You mean the one you bankrolled through 3 opportunities that tanked the condo that foreclosed in 15. Eating Dad's bonus. The app that burned $80 kelvins before launch. Dad's face hardened, knuckles whitening on the folder. We invested in potential. Benjamin's got the vision. You're the executor type. Steady. But not expansive. Expansive. I tasted the word. Acrid? Like funneling your nest egg to his visions, while I bootstrapped Crescent on credit cards and side gigs. $21 million sale last week. Did that ping your radar, or just the Porsche? Gleaming in the drive like a taunt, Benjamin's jaw clenched. Eyes narrowing, victim mode, flipping to accusation. Always the high horse with you. Live. Jealous since we were kids. My trophies on the shelf. Yours in drawers? Dad drove me to practice. You biked alone. Now look, I'm building equity. Family. You're. What? A solo empire cold. Cold. The verdict landed, echoing Mom's old refrains. Be more like your brother, warm. Engaging. But the fire in me now was forged. Not fanned. I unzipped my briefcase deliberate. The zipper's rasp cutting the tension like a knife through silk. Equity. Let's talk real. Horizon wired the funds yesterday enough to float your shortfall twice over. But I'm not your ATM. Dad's eyes lit. Leaning forward. Olivia. Think, practical. Sign here. He tapped the loan doc. Pre-filled $, 150 kelvins, at 4%. Benjamin Sig scrawled. I pulled out my stack instead, the foundation prospectus. Crisp and bound. $16 million earmarked. No! This is the Rivera Arts Endowment. Name it for Miss Rivera. My high school mentor, the one who chaperoned my art shows when you were at Benjamin's games. $16 million for under-the-radar creatives, women like I was. Overlooked till they prove it wrong. Mom's cup rattled in saucer. You're giving it away. To strangers, Benjamin barked a laugh. Disbelieving. Wasting on some scholarship pipe dream. We need it now. House. School. The works need. I said. Voice steel calm. Sliding the dock their way. Like I needed a ride to my science fair. A call on scholarship day. You chose potential over presence every time. This, it's presence. For girls who'll never hear steady's not enough. Rebecca gasped. Hand to throat. The twins, their family. Blood. Dad's face mottled. The tremor in his hands now quake. After all, we've sacrificed. For you to spite us. Sacrifice. The myth cracked wide. Sacrifice. You sacrificed my milestones for his missteps. Therapy bills for my sensitivity. My college apps while you co-signed his loans. I tapped the phone on the table. Screen aglow recorder app ticking. 001427. This. Every word today. Every guilt play. Every legacy lie. Legal shield for the fund. Try contesting. And it goes public. Benjamin surged up. Chair toppling with a thud. You recording us, like we're the villains. You're not villains. I said. Rising slow. Briefcase snapping shut. Just absent. And I'm done filling the seats. Mom's sub broke. Handkerchief to mouth. Olivia. Please, family. Forgives. I paused at the threshold. Rain a curtain beyond the glass. Forgiveness. Earn it. Show up for real. Till then? The door clicked shut behind me. Soft as finality. The porch swallowing me whole. The Porsche roared to life. Wipers. Slashing fury. Tires. Hydroplaning the drive as Lake Forest shrank in the mirror. Phone lit Alex. How'd it land? Like a bomb. I voice texted. Voice steady for the first time. But I'm the one still standing. Benjamin's eruption. Dad's plea. Mom's tears, they swirled. But the weight lifted. Replaced by a fierce clarity. They'd built Benjamin's castle on sand. Mine stood on stone. But as taillights faded into the storm, a whisper nagged. What if they didn't stop at tears? What if the family siege went public, smearing my win to salvage their myth? The real battle was just igniting. And the next salvo. It would come from boardrooms. Not back rooms. The Porsche ate up the interstate like it was born for flight. Rain, sheeting off the hood in furious arcs. The engines hum, a steady pulse against the chaos churning in my chest. 40 minutes out. Lake Forest, a smudge in the mirrors. And the adrenaline crash hit shakes in my hands. A metallic tang on my tongue, like I'd bitten foil. I'd walked out. Walked out. No capitulation. No checkbook flourish. Just the foundation prospectus slapped down like a royal flush. The recorder's red light winking like a co-conspirator. $16 million, earmarked for the Rivera Endowment. A bulwark for young women sketching dreams in the margins. The ones whose families saw steady as a curse. Not a crown. Ms. Rivera would have beamed. She'd been the first to spot my sketches in sophomore year. Chaperoning gallery nights, while Mom alphabetized Benjamin's debate notes. Phone lit up on the passenger mount. Alex. Voice. Call incoming. I thumbed. Accept. Wipers sinking to his live talk to me. His tone was anchor steady. The kind honed from Navy days. No fluff. I dropped the bomb. I said. Merging onto the 294. Horns, blaring from a semi's wake. Loan docs shredded in their stares. Showed 'em the fundful board approval. Ironclad trust. Benjamin blew a gasket. Dad went red as his old thermos. Mom. Tears on tap. A beat. His exhale fogging my resolve. And you. Holding. I glanced at the dash clock. 4:17 p.m. Production review. In 45. Shaking. But standing. Recorder caught it all. Guilt trips. The legacy gospel. Legal moat around the money. Proud doesn't cover it. He said. Soft, but sure. Board meet tomorrow. 9 sharp pressers locked. No leaks, till we say. Extraction dinner Thai place. Your call. Laughter bubbled up. Unbidden. First real one since the tea clink. Deal. Love you. Click. The line went dead. But the warmth lingered. A firewall against the rear view. What ifs? What if Benjamin lawyered up? Spinning undue influence on the fund. What if Mom's waterworks went viral in family chats? Painting me the Scrooge daughter. The exit for Portland loomed. But so did the texts. First ping at 6:42 p.m. Mom's number. How could you? After everything. Call now. Deleted. By 8:17. Benjamin. This isn't over. Twins need stability, you owe us. Blocked. Midnight brought the barrage voicemails stacking like indictments. Mom's progression from sniffly. We love you. Let's talk to shrill. You're breaking us. Think of the scandal. Sleep was fitful. Tangled sheets and half-dreams of oak tables splintering under accusations. Dawn broke slate gray. The Porsche's garage berth a sentinel, as I suited up navy pencil skirt. The one from Horizon. Signing. Blouse. Crisp as new bylaws. Alex pressed coffee into my palm at the door. Kiss lingering. War chest. Ready. Patricia at noon debrief. The drive to Crescent's loft in the Pearl District was a meditation in merge lanes. Radio droning market futures. While my mind tallied the fallout math, $21 million influx. $16. Funneled to the endowment board of 12 powerhouses. All women vetted. Like Generals Naomi Blake. My first backer. Steel Magnolia from Venture Days. Elena Vasquez. Litigator who'd shredded patent trolls for breakfast. No chinks for family siege. The boardroom gleamed glass walls, framing the river's bend. Agendas fanned like victory flags. Naomi took the head. Her silver chignon, a crown. Eyes scanning me sharp, Acquisition ink dry, nods all round, horizons transition seamless. Clients locked. Equity bumps for the team. Then, the endowment pitch prospectus projected. $16. Million trust, diagrammed in flowchart blues and greens irrevocable. Donor advised. Tax-sheltered fortress. First cohort, 10 grants. $50 kelvins each. Mentorship, baked in. Rivera scholars overlooked talents. No. Nepotism strings. Murmurs of approval rippled. Elena leaned in. Pin tapping. Contestable family claims I slid the recorder thumb drive across time-stamped audio. Transcribed highlights. Armored. Any pushback? We countersue for interference defamation. If they leak. Unanimous aye. Press release greenlit Crescent founder launches $16 M endowment for emerging female creatives. Launch gala in 60 days. Applications live by spring. As we broke, Naomi pulled me aside. Hand on elbow. Mentor grip. Firm as her handshake. Heard. Whispers. Lake Forest lunch. You held the line. But lines get tested. Her eyes held mine. Sage behind the savvy. They'll come harder. PR shield up? I nodded. The weight settling. Not fear. But fuel. Tested. Bring it. Back at my desk. Inbox. A deluge horizon onboarding queries. Client kudos. Then Janine's alert from reception. Family. Inbound. Loud. Through the glass partition. The lobby erupted Mom's voice, slicing the hum like a siren. Pearl earrings swinging as she gesticulated at the security desk. My daughter Olivia Hayes. She's in there. Tell her to face her family. Benjamin flanked her. Suit rumpled. Face thundercloud red. The shade of toddler tantrums denied candy. Dad trailed. Hat in hand. Murmuring placations to the guard. Rebecca overed peripheral. Phone out filming. The team froze. Mid-keystroke. Eyes, darting my way. Jen mouthing. What the hell? I rose smooth. Smoothing my skirt, like armor plates. Handled. I called across the open floor. Voice, carrying calm as a closing argument. To Janine escort. Out. Polite, but firm, no engagement. Security moved in tandem. Broad shoulders parting the fray. Mom's wail, peeking, abandoning us. After our sacrifices. Benjamin jabbed a finger toward my door. You think money erases blood? We'll drag this public your empire built on our backs. Dad's mumble cut through Olivia. Please just talk. The elevator dinged. Swallowing them. But Benjamin's parting shot echoed. This war. You started it. The floor exhaled collective Jen sidling over. Brow arched. Drama alert. Zeche. Zeche. Need backup. I shook my head. Pulse steadying. Just the overture. Carry on horizon sink at 2. But the siege lingered. A bruise under the skin. By lunch. Socials stirred cousin Ellie's group chat screenshot Mom's post heartbroken. Daughter turns back on family in crisis. Pray for reconciliation. Likes from aunts. Uncles. The church circle. What happened? Ungrateful Benjamin's burner account easy spot. Same profile. Pick dropping shade. Some chase spotlights. Forget roots. Number. Family first. No tags. But the algorithm sniffed blood. Pushing to my feeds. Patricia's office at noon smelled of chamomile and resolve sun slanting through blinds. Her leather chair. A confessional. Walk me through. She said. Notepad poised. No judgment in her gaze. I unpacked it the lone lunge. The fund reveal. The lobby lunacy. Felt. Liberating. I admitted. Tracing the armrest's stitching. But the echo. Like I've poked a hornet's nest. She nodded. Pen scratching soft. Classic escalation denial. To demand to defamation. You're not just saying no. You're rewriting the script. They fight dirty, because control's slipping. Her eyes met mine. Steady. The recording gold. But prep for the smear. Therapy's your bunker. Not battleground. That evening, over basil chicken at our pearl haunt lanterns, casting amber pools. Alex's foot hooked round mine under the table. I drafted the ceasefire email to all four. CC'd to my attorney. Lila Chen. Documented workplace disruption today? Further contact. Personal or professional triggers. Restraining order and defamation suit. Communications via Lila only. Attachments. Audio excerpts. Lobby footage from security cams. Sent. Receipt ticks lit like spent casings. Alex squeezed my hand across the non. Bulletproof. As it gets? I said. But sleep that night was shallow. Dreams of oak tables morphing to witness stands. Benjamin's voice booming. She owes us. Dawn 2 brought the Deluge Portland Tribune alert. Local ad moguls family feud $21M windfall sparks inheritance ire. Sourced anonymous. But the quote screamed mom. We raised her to value family above fortune. Benjamin's fingerprints in the insider drip overlooked for years. Now hoarding success. Comments flooded. Classic golden child syndrome read the subreddits. Good for her blood ain't always thicker. Shares hit 5 kelvins by coffee. My mentions a minefield colleagues. DMing support. Saw the peace teams got your 6. Trolls slinging Nepo baby denies roots. Lila called at 8:45. Voice. All business. Cease and desist. Drafting. Tribune retraction. Push facts don't back their spin. Naomi's statement dropped by 10. Olivia Hayes' generosity via the Rivera Endowment underscores her commitment to uplift. Not undercut. Personal matters stay personal. The tide turned slow. Chronicle follow-up interviewing Elena. No inheritance at play. This is self-made resolve. Applications to the fund surged 300%. Donors pledging match Naomi's circle. My alumni network. Even a shout-out from Patagonia's CSR head. By week's end, the boardroom buzzed. Vindication first scholar shortlist in hand. Gala RSVPs overflowing. But the real win, Patricia's follow-up. Her smile approving. You've transmuted poison to purpose. They rage because you've escaped the cage. Escaped. The word settled. A key turning in a lock, long rusted. Yet, as I signed off on the presser, from shadows to spotlight haze $16M legacy for the unseen, a final ping Dad's email. Routed through Lila. We were wrong. Everywhere. Can we talk real talk? No hook? Nah hurry. Just words I'd waited decades for. Tempting. Sure. But the cage door swung wide. Now, my choice. Not theirs. The real freedom. Stepping through. Not looking back. As the endowment's first light flickered on horizons, they'd never mapped. But what if real talk was the bait for round 2? A therapy feint masking deeper digs, the war might pause. But for a fortress like mine, peace was the ultimate siege. A year unfurled, like a long-held breath, released. The Rivera Endowment, taking root in Crescent's expanded Pearl District wing, a sunlit atelier where easels stood, sentinel and walls whispered of fresh starts. The lobby had become legend in office lore, the Siege of 25. Yen dubbed it. Retold over coffee runs, with mock-serious reenactments, Mom's pearl clutch. Benjamin's finger jab. My doorframe stance like a sheriff, at high noon. We'd weathered the squall. Lila's cease and desist landed like a legal sandbag. Quashing the Tribune's spin with a counterpiece self-made heiress shield's legacy from kin's grasp facts, unspooling the myth. Mom's Facebook furies drew eye rolls from the church. Ladies' pats always dramatized. Benjamin's anonymous barbs boomeranged. His firm's clients quietly defecting to ethical alternatives. Dad's routed email lingered in my drafts. Wrong. Everywhere. Talk unanswered. A bookmark on a chapter closed. Not burned. The fund flourished. A phoenix from Family Ash first cohort, announced spring 26, 10 women. Ages 19 to 29. Their portfolios, a mosaic of grit, a Portland barista's stop-motion shorts on urban foraging, a Tacoma single mom's graphic novels tracing immigrant roots, Lila's niece. A coder sketching apps for elder care. Her pitch, echoing my own bootstraps. Naomi mentored the barista. Her venture savvy turning raw reels to festival shorts. Elena vetted the coder's IP. Pro bono armor against poachers. Applications crested 500 by summer. Donors doubling down Patagonia's CSR arm, matching $2 million. A quiet nod to my campaigns. The gala that fall, sold out in hours, 300 souls in the waterfront pavilion. Fairy lights tracing the Willamette like veins of vindication. But the true measure came quieter. In the studio's morning hush, I stood there now. October light slanting gold through reclaimed sash windows. Watching Maya Chen, our inaugural scholar. A wiry 22-year-old with ink-stained fingers and eyes like polished onyx, adjust her light rig for a docuserie on forgotten Oregon mill towns. Her application video had hooked me months back, shaky cam footage of her dad's shuttered factory. Voiceover raw. He built shelves for strangers. Family barely fit one. Echoes of dad's mill whistle, at dawn. Benjamin's scouts over my science fairs. I'd greenlit her personally. 50 Kelvin. Plus, my Friday's hands-on. From storyboarding to grants. Angle too high. Maya glanced up. Tripod creaking under her tweaks. Her dark hair tied in a practical knot. No polish. Just purpose. The kind I'd bartered for in basements and boardrooms. I stepped closer. Peering through the viewfinder, the model mill she'd mocked up from balsa and wire. Shadows playing like ghosts on ledger paper. Nudge left, catch the ledger's fray. Makes the debt feel lived in. Not ledgered. She nodded. Pivoting smooth. The rig locking with a satisfying click. Like your wedding aisle shots empty but electric. My breath hitched had I shared that no? Just the prospectus bio. The overlooked thread. She caught my pause. Straightening. Sorry, Naomi mentioned. Said you walked it alone. Built this from the echo. Echo. The word hung. A bridge I'd crossed solo? But here? In this space, I'd willed from wire transfers, and will. It resounded different. Not hollow. But harmonic. Echoes make the best stories. I said. Pulling up a stool scuffed pine. 1 of 10. We'd salvaged from a defunct print shop. Mine started with a teacher who saw sketches when kin saw spreadsheets. Ms. Rivera drove me to that first gallery. Rain or shine. No legacy lectures. Just show 'em your line. Maya's eyes lit. Tool, pausing. She'd love this, your fund. I mean, feels like payback. But. Kinder. Payback. The term twisted sweet now. Stripped of spite. The endowment wasn't a slap, though. Benjamin's last LinkedIn wail, grateful for family support in tough times, had tempted. But a salve. Stitching wounds with scholarships and spotlights. We'd funded Maya's doc to Tribeca's shortlist. The barista's shorts snagged Sundance buzz. The mom's novels hit indie bestseller. Her advance buying time for the kids' braces. Impact metrics poured in 80% retention in creative fields. Alumni networks sprouting like vines. And the twins, public school thrived them. Rebecca's posts shifted from plaid uniforms to playground forts. Benjamin's merger, a mid-tier settlement, that shaved his sails but spared the ship. Dad's overtures tapered a forwarded obit for Ms. Rivera. Thought you'd want proud of her pupil. Then silence. Mom's Christmas card arrived. Generic stock photo family. No personal scrawl. Benjamin radiostatic. His practice. A shadow of the empire he'd hashtagged. Freedom's price. The quiet audit of what might have been holiday tables with actual toasts. Not tensions. But Patricia called it growth's graft. You pruned the poison. Now watch the graft take. Our sessions spaced to monthly. Her chamomile nods affirming the peace, not painless, but purchased. The Portland Arts Center podium gleamed that crisp November eve. Footlights warm on my face as I clutch the Community Vanguard Award, a etched crystal slab. Heavier than Benjamin's debate trophies. Lighter than regret. 300 packed the hall, Alex front row beaming. His arm in a mock sling from cheering too hard. Naomi beside him. Chignon impeccable. The cohort clustered mid-aisle. Maya's camera discreet on a tripod. No empties this time. No phantom seats yawning judgment. Just faces lit with earned regard board allies. Donor kin. Scholars who'd traded my silence for their spotlight. Thank you. I began. Voice carrying clear, no tremor. Just timbre honed from pitches and pleas. The mic fed back a hush. Expectant. This journey. It started in shadows, milestones marked alone. Approvals chased like willow, the wisps. I measured worth in empty chairs. Weddings walked solo. Sales sealed, silent. Dreams docketed as steady, while others got the fanfare. Pauses let it land. Eyes sweeping the room, Naomi's nod. Maya's intent gaze. Alex's quiet fist pump. Family's a word we inherit, but not always earn. Mine taught what love lacks presence over potential. Applause unasked. But from that lack I built bridges, not for the absent, but the unseen. Murmur swelled. Nods rippling like approval's tide. The Rivera endowment isn't revenge, it's reclamation. $16 million for women who sketch in margins. Code in corners. Film the forgotten. Because true legacy, it's not bloodlines or balance sheets, it's lifting the next line. The one that might have stayed sketched. The crystal caught the light as I raised it. Refraction dancing like fireflies at Willow Creek. To those who see us clear, thank you for the seats you fill. The echoes you amplify. Thunderous standing, ovation crashing like vindication's wave. Hands clapping from the rafters. Maya whooping from her row. Backstage. Alex enveloped me. His whisper fierce. That's my vanguard. Naomi pressed a card invitation to her next fund. Your light's infectious. Maya lingered last. Portfolio under arm. Your story, it's mine. Now, Doc's epilogue. Permission. I hugged her impulsive. The scent of gesso and grit. All yours. Make it echo. Driving home in the Porsche slate still sharp. The miles unfazed. The city lights blurred. Benevolent. A far cry from that rain-slashed interstate a year prior. We passed the old coffee shop. My pre-crescent haunt laptop glow in fogged windows. Where I'd edited pitches on borrowed Wi-Fi. A glimpse through the steam mom and dad at a corner booth. Heads bent over menus. No recognition in their glance. I didn't break. No sting. Just a nod. To the teacher in the rear view. You built this road. Holiday cards came sparse that season. Chosen families. Thick with photos. Alex's clan ski. Chalet chaos. Naomi's vineyard soiree. The cohort's virtual toast with eggnog pixels. Our tree twinkled with ornament orphans. Miss Rivera's paintbrush charm. Maya's first reel on USB. No colonials. No please. Benjamin's firm shuttered quiet. By New Year's mid-tier merger. A mirage. Rebecca's posts pivoting to new chapters in community ed. Dad's final note. Via Lila therapy started. Doors yours. When ready? No rush. The graft took time. Spring bloomed the endowment's second cycle. Emergency grants for hardship scholars. $5 million buffer against the steadies that sideline. I mentored a coder from Tacoma, her app, for remote kin checks. Born from Milltown Miles. Like your fund, she said over Zoom. Demo flickering. Sees the gaps. Fills 'em. Patricia beamed at our last session. That her retirement. On horizon. Post-traumatic bloom. You've authored your arc. Authored. Yes, the girl in the bridal suite. Echoes fading. Now scripted spotlights for the sidelined. As summer crested, Maya's doc premiered margins made Tribeca's house lights dimming on my aisle walk. The oak table standoff. The Porsche's purr into purpose. Credits rolled. For Ms. Lyon. Rivera. For Olivia. For us. Q. A. After. Her arm linked mine. She didn't just fund me, she framed the forgotten. Applause washed. No empties. Just echoes amplified. Alex waited wingside. Hand out. Ready for Act 2, I took it. Stepping into light, not chased. But claimed. Family, not the rays. But the rise. The ones who lift when lines go slack. In the end. The best revenge isn't ruin. It's roots. Replanted. Where they take. And those they thrive.